Okay, so let's start. Good evening, class. Kumusta? Nabasa niyo ba yung sinend kong module, yung lesson 1 for our engineering ethics?
Sir.
Nabasa niyo?
Opo, sir.
Okay, nabasa naman. Okay.
Yes po.
Tapos.
Hindi pa tapos. Okay lang. Sige, tuloy na lang
Pero
natin.
nag-start na din po.
Thank you. Okay. So for this evening, actually we will discuss that one, the module na sinend ko sa inyo. Since yung iba nabasa niyo na naman yung first part, ano na lang natin, bibilisan na lang natin ng konti. So if ever na may question na lang kayo, I will entertain naman that question. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. So first topic for the engineering ethics is the ethics and professionalism. So for this module, we will be able to understand what is ethics and professionalism. We will be familiarized with the scope of engineering ethics and its relationship to different dimensions of engineering. So clearly understand the reason bakit ba natin kailangan to engineering ethics and reflect carefully on moral issues can be accomplished by improving various practical skills. We will also describe the normative judgment and distinguish them from descriptive judgments. So we will also describe what is the norms, values, and virtues and how they differ to each other. Then we will describe the 4 ethical theories: the utilitarianism, Kantian theory, virtue theory, and the care ethics. So using those theories, we will be able to identify what will be our decisions in every conflict na may encounter natin sa ating work. And last, we identify the criticisms of 4 ethical theories, applied ethical theories to moral issues in engineering practice. Okay? So first, let me discuss to you the scopes of engineering ethics. So most technology, however, has the double implication. So as of now, especially in the future, this technology creates benefit, but also it raises moral challenges. Kasi sometimes yung mga technology, marami siyang nababanggang mga amoral issues. So just as exploration of the moon and planets stand engineering triumphs, so the explosion ng Challenger 1986 and the Columbia in 2003. So where tragedies have been prevented, an urgent warning voice for by experienced engineers being headed. So we will examine and other cases of human error. So titingnan kasi natin dito sa engineering ethics. Ano yung nagiging effect if ever na as engineers ay hindi tama yung ginawa nating decisions. Also, ethics involves appreciating the vast positive dimension that so deeply enrich our lives. So, as of now, maraming technology na in-improve na yung ating way of life. For example, electricity, the automobiles, the airplanes, the water supply and distribution, the radio and television, agricultural, mechanizations. So, almost all technologies na nai-invent ngayon is malaki talaga yung tulong sa atin. So, most of the creators nun is engineers. So, that's why they created engineering ethics. Kasi, as engineers, ano na kasi natin parang the way, lahat ng bagay na ginagawa natin, it can make or break a life. So, later on, mas re-realize natin yan. Okay? So, what are the dimensions of engineering? So, engineers encounter both moral and technical problems concerning variability in the materials available to them, the quality of work by co-workers at all levels, a nation shift of authority within corporations, and the next graph will show is shows the sequence of tasks for the concept of a product design. So, dun sa graph na sinend ko sa inyo or dun sa figure na binigay ko sa inyo, it composed the activities na ginagawa ng isang engineers in general on how to create products or projects. So first is the initiation of tasks. On this part, we create ideas or the customer have a specific request or yung market natin may gustong demand. For example, in terms of cellphone. So ngayon, for example, ang demand ng customers natin ay maganda yung camera, mataas yung memory. So, based dun sa demand ng market natin, dun tayo nakakapag-create ng idea. Ano ba yung next natin gagawin sa ating next product? And then, after we get the idea, the specific request, we now proceed to the design. So, the design, which is includes the concept, the goals, the specifications, and the preliminary analysis. So in this analysis, we also provide detailed analysis, the simulation, how to do. We prototype, ano ba yung mag-iitsura ng product natin, specification for materials and components, and detailed shop drawings. So on this part, we will identify naman ano yung mga materials na gagamitin natin, the processes, and we will simulate kung kakayanin ba ng ating productions. After that, we will start to manufacture ano ba yung hinihingi ng customers natin. So on this manufacturing side, we will schedule the tasks, the purchasing, the fabrication of parts, assembly, and the construction. So after we manufacture, we will test and we will try to assure the quality of the product we made. After that, the implementation, dito na papasok yung business side, which is the advertising, the sales, financing, operating, and parts manual. And after that, the ship and installation, the use of the product, and then if there will be, we have the after service product, yun yung nagkakaroon tayo ng mga maintenance, repairs, and spare parts. So madalas umu-order sila ng, sa isang manufacturing company, nagpo-provide tayo ng mga spare parts. For example, on our production, so may mga parts, for example, motherboard lang yun naman kailangan ng customer, so we provide spare parts for them. So depende talaga yan sa magiging demand ng customers natin. And then, we will monitor the social and environmental effects. So as engineers, kailangan nating i-check lagi ano ba yung magiging epekto nito sa social and environment natin. And then if there will be findings, we have to report those findings to parties at possible risk. And then the final task will be the rebuilding, recycling, dispose of material and waste, if ever na matapos yung product natin. So, engineering as professions. When we say profession kasi, work that requires sophisticated skills, the use of judgment, and the exercise of discretion. Also, the work is not routine and is not capable of being mechanized. Pag sinabi natin profession, you are specialized sa isang skill, sa isang task, na ginagawa mo. Also, it is not routine. Ibig sabihin, nakabase sa situation kung ano yung gagawin mo. So, the next attribute of profession is the membership in the profession requires extensive formal education, not simply practical training or apprenticeship. So, as profession, dito kasi tinitingnan natin ano ba yung paano natin i-relate si profession sa engineers. So, you are, makasabi natin ikaw ay kumbaga, specialized ka doon sa skills if ever na nagkaroon ka ng formal education. Hindi lang siya basta practical training na 8 hours or 1 week. Another attribute is the public allows special societies or organizations that are controlled by members of the profession. So we as engineers, we have mga group, mga organization na nag-handle sa atin na nagbibigay ng mga standards, ano ba dapat yung ginagawa natin. The 4 is the significant public good result from the practice of the profession. Okay. Sabi ko nga, as engineers, we hold the thing or yung mga bagay na ginagawa natin, it can make or break a life. Okay, imagine this one. So this one is the London Bridge. So imagine, so London Bridge ang gumagawa, mostly ng mga gumagawa ng bridge natin, syempre, andyan yung architect and the civil engineers. Imagine the number of people na dumadaan dito araw-araw. So what if the civil engineer and the architect did not consider the standard materials sa paggagawa ng bridge na to? And one time, mag-deteriorate yung mga materials na ginamit, maraming dumadaan. For example, thousands of people, bigla siya nasira. So, sa halip na makatulong tayo as engineers, nakasira tayo ng buhay kasi maraming mga aksidente. Right? The next one, electricity. So, what if the electrical engineers ay hindi na plano na ayos ng electricity? Lahat tayo gumagamit. Hindi lang buong tao sa mundo, lahat ng tao sa mundo gumagamit ng electricity. What if nagkamali sila ng plano ng wirings na yan? Kumalat sa buong, for example, sa isang barangay lang natin. And then naka-apekto siya sa lahat ng mga equipments na meron yung bahay or mga ginagamit natin. So, possible, maka-apekto siya sa buhay ng ibang tao. Mga gamot, medicine. So, chemical engineers are part of the formulation of medicines na ginagamit ng napakaraming tao para galingin yung isang sakit. What if nagkamali sila ng formulation, hindi nila sinunod yung tamang formula? So, lahat tayo gumagamit. What if mali yung ginawa nila, sa halip na makagamot yung ginawa nila, mas lalo pa siyang magkaroon naman sa mga epekto sa ating katawan. So, how about us, industrial engineer? Do you have the idea ano yung pwedeng mangyari if ever na hindi natin gawin yung standard, yung mga standard na kailangan natin gawin in terms of, for example, in the manufacturing side? Anyone who can answer or guess? Okay, pipili na lang ako. Sinong maswerte? Okay, Justin.
Sir.
Okay. What do you think as industrial engineer? Okay.
Sure. Example po sa manufacturing, kapag po hindi po nasunod yung standards or yung specifications ng product, pwede po siyang maging malaking waste sa company, lalo na po kapag na hindi po siya napansin tapos nakarating po sa mga customers.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next. Can you give a specific product na ginagawa ng isang industrial engineer at paano ito makaka-apekto? Try natin si Patricia. Hi. Hi. Pwede ba magbigay ka ng isang product na sa tingin mo ginagawa ng isang industrial engineer, and paano kaya kung unethical yung pagkakagawa niya?
Halimbawa po yung sa iPhone, sir. Ayun nga po, pag halimbawa may nagkamali sa process na ginawa mo, yung katulad po sa battery, tapos na-distribute po siya sa mga tao sa market, may tendency po na pwedeng makaharm sa tao yung halimbawa pagsabog nga po ng battery, ganun po.
Thank you.
Ayun.
Thank you. Okay, tama. Tama lahat ng sinabi niya. So, see this products. We have the electronic products, the computer, printer, laptop, cell phone. We have also the food products and the other household products. So we as industrial engineer, we always strive for the optimum safety and quality of those products. So tayo, sabi ko nga as IE, napaka-diverse ng trabaho na pwede natin puntahan. Pwede tayo sa procurement, sa planning, sa production, sa quality, sa sales. Meron din tayong mga industrial engineer. So, we plan to provide the optimum safety and quality of the products na binibigay natin sa market. Sabi nga, kagaya nung cellphone na you remember na yung Samsung na sumabog, na possible daw nagkameron ng problem dun sa mga parts na nandun. Kaya, we assure na lahat ng product na dinidistribute natin ay safe. For example, on our side, we are a manufacturer of projectors and printers. So, sa projectors namin, we have the safety inspection. Bago namin siya i-inspect, bago namin siya i-deliver, we have the safety inspection na kung saan tinetest namin kung may lalabas na kuryente dun sa product na yon. Kasi possible, kung may lumalabas na kuryente dun sa product na yon, kung sino mang gagamit, possible siyang sumabog, possible siyang mag-apoy, or makakuryente ng ibang tao. So we as industrial, napaka-importante ng trabaho natin para sa mga tao na gumagamit ng mga product na ginagawa natin. Okay? Yan, imagine this one. So this is very famous ethical issues na nangyari. Okay? Sino na nakapanood nito? Actually, this one, almost 5 times ko na pinanood yung movie na to. Pero sabi ko, ito yung pinaka-famous na masasabi natin na nagkaroon ng ethical problem. Okay, so let's analyze. So during this, last 1912, more than 1,500 people died when the Titanic struck an iceberg. So same with the movie, so ganun yung nangyari. Over the years, many have researched and investigated the details of its sinking, and it has been determined that a number of design issues and poor decision led to sinking in just over 2.5 hours. In a span of 2.5 hours, biglang totally lumubog yung Titanic last 1912. 1,500 yung namatay or 1,500 yung namatay, so sobrang dami. Sabi, as one of the biggest ocean liners of its day, the Titanic featured 16 watertight compartments. If 4 of those flooded, the ship would still be able to float. Sabihin, kung 4 yung lumubog, mag-i-stay pa rin siya mag-float. 6 compartments flooded, though because bulkheads were not tall enough to hold the water. Some potential causes behind the ship sinking include design that failed to take into the account of size. Sobrang laki daw. During the designing, hindi nila consider yung design kasi inisip nila, mas malaki yung kikitain nila kapag mas marami silang tao maka-accommodate. The mobility, the speed the ship was traveling. Since malaki yung Titanic, hindi nila na-consider yung speed na kailangan lang takbuhin ito. So, from the time na possible bumangga sila sa iceberg, nahirapan na silang mag-adjust. And also, they ignored warning signs about the likelihood of iceberg and other factors. So one flaw na sinasabi kung bakit maraming namatay, there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on the board. So meron lang daw 20 lifeboats na pwedeng makapag-save ng 1,200 people. While ang laman ng ating Titanic, 2,200 passengers. So, and kasama na syempre yung crew doon. So, titingnan natin, kung 1,200 lang yung kasya sa lifeboats natin, almost 1,000 yung possible mamatay. But, in reality, ang namatay is 1,500. So, bakit? Bakit kaya tinanggal? Or bakit kaya hindi sakto yung lifeboats? Tingin nyo, any guess? Do you have, guess kung bakit?
Sir.
Okay, sige. Jan?
Kasi po mas inuno po nilang pasakayin yung mga class A passengers po.
Okay. Tama. Nang lumubog na siya, nung tumama na siya sa iceberg, pinauna nila yung mga class A na passengers. Okay? Any guess pa? Kung bakit, sa tingin natin, kulang yung lifeboat na pinrovide nung manufacturer nung Titanic. Tingin nyo?
Sir,
Okay, Justin.
nag-cost cutting po sila, sir.
Cost cutting?
Tingin ko lang po.
Okay, sige. But most of the unethical issues na nangyayari sa manufacturing side is due to cost cutting. So, pwede rin. Any guess? Sino ba? Mga hula? Sino yan?
Merlin po.
Okay, Marlene. Sige.
Siguro sir, hindi na kasya yung parang kulang sa space na paglalagyan ng mga boats.
Okay. Kulang yung space sa Titanic para paglagyan ng mga lifeboats. Pwede rin. Hindi, okay. Sino pa makakahula? Okay. Isa pa.
Sir.
Sino yan? Okay, Romel.
Sir, siguro exclusive lang talaga sa 1,200 passengers yung Titanic. Since gusto nila madaming passengers, yun na po, nagpasakay pa sila.
Okay. Thank you. Isa pa, sige. Actually, medyo mababaw lang yung dahilan nila eh. Sobrang babaw ng dahilan nila. Sino makakahula pa? Tingin niyo.
Sir, pwede isa pa.
Sino yan? Okay, Romel. Sige, isa pa.
Ako po. Sir, siguro sobra silang confident na hindi lulubog yung Titanic. Kaya sabi nila 20 lang yung lifeboat.
Okay. Medyo malapit na. Medyo.
Sir,
Okay. Sige, isa pa, Regine.
siguro hindi po nila kinonsider yung number ng passengers.
Hindi nila consider yung number of passengers. Okay. Isa pa. Sige, isa pa. Wala na, sasagot. Sino pa? Sino gusto makahula pa? Wala na? Okay, sige. Ito daw yung reason. Wait lang. Okay. Sabi, yung ship owners daw, nagwo-worry daw siya na papangit yung kanyang papangit yung Titanic kasi sobrang daming lifeboat na, kasi di ba yung lifeboat nandun siya sa may labas, nag-aalala, baka ang isipin ng tao, unsafe kasi ang daming lifeboat tapos parang punong-puno yung tagiliran ng Titanic, parang pangit tingnan. So sabi nila, bawasan natin. So kaya nangyari, hindi nagkasya yung lifeboat para doon sa lahat ng passengers. So yun yung nangyari. Napakababaw lang nung kanyang reason kung bakit na binawasan. So nag-cause na maraming namatay dun sa Titanic. Okay, thank you dun sa lahat ng sumagot. Okay. So now let's proceed to the definition of what is engineering ethics. Actually, engineering ethics are moral issues and decisions confronting individuals and organization involved in engineering. When we say ethics kasi, it's doing good, ano ba yung tama sa mali. So, ang kaibahan lang ito, same lang siya with engineering ethics. Yun nga lang yung ethics we apply to engineering. So, para lang tayo nag-aaral dito ng values and value education nung high school tayo. Pero, syempre, mas malalim kasi mas maintindihan natin ano yung pwedeng mangyari kapag hindi tayo gumawa ng tama. Okay. So, when we say applied ethics, it is a discipline of philosophy that attempts to apply the ethical theory to real-life situations. So, the discipline has many specialized fields, such as engineering ethics, bioethics, geoethics, public ethics, and business ethics. So, in business, we have the philosophical triad of business. Kung mapapansin natin, one part of the triad of a business is the business ethics. So, as business, we have to specify the behavioral mode ng mga empleyado natin para magbigay siya ng magandang resulta doon sa ating mga customer. So, together with the philosophical imperatives o yung mga principles ng business and siyempre yung binibigay nating quality sa social or dun sa environment natin, which is the social responsibility. Okay. So, the ethics of self-interest, this one, I will just give you the time para basahin dun sa module. We will skip na lang this kasi meron tayong mga mas importante pang topic dun sa latter part. Okay? Okay. So, these are the tasks na binigay ko kanina. Especially yung professional autonomy and engineers professional. So, pabasa na lang din. Nandun naman siya sa module. So, let's skip na lang din natin siya. Okay? So the engineering task and the possible problems, andito yung mga possible problems na pwede mangyari sa atin based dun sa pinakita kong task kanina. First is during the design, pwede tayo maging blind to new concept or violation of patents. Yung pala yung iniisip nating design ay meron na palang gumawa. We have the product to be used illegally. In terms of goal, unrealistic naman yung iniisip natin and available yung mga materials. In preliminary analysis, overly detailed designer's area of expertise marginal somewhere or uneven yung analysis natin. In terms of detailed analysis, identify yung methodologies, hindi natin alam kung paano gagawin. In terms of prototyping and testing, actually this one, ang prototyping tsaka simulation kasi ng product natin is it will be done in most favorable conditions. Most likely hindi siya kompleto. Pero in our company, we have the prototype na kung saan ina-assure talaga namin na kung ano yung lalabas sa prototype, yun din yung lalabas during the mass production. For the design specification, tutak yung adjustment during manufacture. Kumbaga, nag-start tayo manufacture, nag-check, nagkakaroon pa tayo ng mga changes na hindi agad natin na-check. Scheduling of tasks, unrealistic yung binigay nating dates, and wala tayong allowance for unexpected events. Purchasing, yan. Actually, dito, mostly ng mga businesses ay meron silang mga procedures, tawag dito, company regulation, kasi ito yung madalas na naka-encounter nila sa business. Yung unethical in terms of purchasing. Kasi dito nagkakaroon tayo ng mga bribes, kickback, yung mga taga-procurement o mga taga-purchasing, minsan ay nagkakamali sila na nababayaran sila or meron silang mga nakukuha kapag pumipili sila ng mga supplier. The fabrication of parts, so bogus materials and components are not detected. In terms of assembly, andyan yung safety natin, safety ng mga tao na gagawa ng product. The quality control, not independent. And then the advertising and sales, false advertising. Mostly yan yung nangyayari, nagiging problem natin in terms of advertising and sales. Ito yung commercial, pagdating sa actual, ibang-iba. Saan niya madalas? Fast food. Diba? Makikita natin sa picture. Ang kapal ng patty, ang kapal ng cheese, ang daming gulay. Pagdating sa atin, wala. Okay? So, dyan tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. False advertising. In terms of shipping, product too large to ship by land, safety measures and devices, reliance on overly complex failure-prone safety devices, lack of simple safety exit. Simple safety exit, kailangan, we as engineers, kailangan ma-check natin yung area natin kung meron siyang exit. Ano po? In terms of usage, operation manual not ready. In terms of maintenance, an adequate supply of spare parts. So, pag papagawa yung product natin, tapos wala tayong spare parts, hindi tayo makakapagbigay ng magandang service. And the monitoring of effect of product, no formal procedure. Kumbaga, binigay natin kay customers, hindi na natin kinuha yung feedback, wala na tayong pakialam kung ano maging effect yung society and environment. And in terms of disposal, ito naman, in terms of hazardous material tinatapon natin, so we have to notify the public. So why we need, okay. The next one is why we need to study engineering ethics. So engineering ethics should be studied because it is important both in contributing to safe and useful technological products and giving meaning to engineers' endeavors. So we as engineers kasi, so ang engineering napaka-broad ng ano yan eh. Napaka-broad ng specialization, di ba? Sobrang daming engineering. We have the industrial, computer, civil, electrical, sobrang dami mechanical. So, mas maganda na magkaroon tayo ng common ground as engineers. Ano ba yung dapat ginagawa natin sa trabaho natin? So, ito nga yung engineering ethics. So, on the latter part of our discussion, sa mga next topic natin, we will discuss ano ba yung codes of ethics ng isang engineer. So, the first reason, we increase awareness of importance due to publicity surrounding high-profile engineering failures. So, dito mas maintindihan natin yung marami tayong may encounter dito ng mga engineering failures na kung saan magagamit natin siya in the future. So, maging aware tayo, ano ba yung dapat na natin hindi gawin. The number 2, engineering decision can impact public health, safety, business practices, and politics. So, yung ngayon kagaya mga example ko kanina, marami ang maapektuhan kapag naging unethical tayo sa ginagawa natin. Number 3, engineers should be aware of moral implication as they make decision in the workplace. Study of ethics help engineers develop a moral autonomy, ability to think critically and independently about moral issues, and the last one is ability to apply this moral thinking to situations that arise in the course of professional engineering practice. So improving the ability to reflect carefully on moral issues can be accomplished by improving various practical skills that will help produce autonomous thought about moral issues. So after we finish the engineering ethics, we will be able to work morally. Sana ano. So kasi tayo yung aasahan ng public to make or to invent new products. So improving the ability to reflect carefully on moral issues can be accomplished by improving various practical skills like moral awareness, coherent moral reasoning, cogent moral reasoning, moral coherence, moral imagination, and moral communication. So discuss lang din natin siya ng bilis. Okay. When we say moral awareness, it pertains to proficiency in recognizing and moral problems, issues in engineering. Ibig sabihin, mas may improve natin, mas makikita natin ng maayos, alin ba yung moral tama sa mali in terms of engineering practice. Cogent moral reasoning, comprehending, clarifying, and assessing arguments on opposing sides of moral issues. So, after finishing the engineering ethics, we will be able to assess ano ba yung tama dun sa between two sides. The moral coherence is forming consistent and comprehensive viewpoints based on consideration of relevant facts. So we use facts, not opinions, in terms of assessing the moral issues. Moral imagination, discerning alternative responses to moral issues and finding creative solutions for practical difficulties. We'll be able to identify ano ba yung pwede natin gawin in order to solve ethical issues. The number 5 is the moral communication. Precision in the use of common ethical language, a skill needed to express and support one moral views adequately to others. So we will be able to communicate morally dun sa mga between the conflicts or between the issues. Okay. So these are the direct goals in college courses. So they center on cognitive skills of the intellect, thinking. So should we therefore add to our list of goals the following goals that specify aspect of moral commitment and responsible conduct. So we have the moral reasonableness is ito naman, the willingness and ability to be morally reasonable, respect for the person, will be able to give concern dun sa ibang tao, tolerance of diversity, so which a broad range respect for ethnic and religious differences. So kailangan maging mataas yung tolerance natin in terms of diversity kasi for example in a labor-intensive company, labor-intensive manufacturing, so napakarami ng tao. Hindi lahat ng tao na nandun ay gusto mo yung ugali, gusto mo kung paano sila magtrabaho, o iba-iba sila ng paniniwala. Napaka-diverse. Geographically na nga lang, napaka-diverse ng mga empleyado sa mga manufacturing. So we have to provide, we have to set high tolerance for that one. The moral hope So we enrich appreciation of the possibilities of using rational dialogue in resolving moral conflict. And in terms of integrity, so we have always to practice professionalism in our work and also in our personal life. Okay? Question? Wala na. Okay. So next we will define. So ito na naman, review na lang natin to. When we say ethics, is this the systematic reflection of what is moral? Ano ba yung tama or ano yung mali? When we say morality, is the whole of opinions, decisions, and actions with which people individually or collectively express ano ba yung what they think is good and right. When we say descriptive ethics, it is involved with the description of the existing morality, including the description of customs and habits, opinions about good and evil. Okay. Responsible and responsible behavior and acceptable or unacceptable action. So it studies the morality found in a certain subcultures or during certain periods of history. For prescriptive, it is not value-free, it judges morality. So it considers the following main question. Do the norms and values actually used conform to our ideas about how people should behave? So normative ethics does not give an ambiguous answer to this question. But in its moral judgment, various arguments are given based on various ethical theories. So let's differentiate lang yung dalawa. Pag sinabi natin descriptive ethics kasi, we have an existing morality. For example, masamang pumatay. So, it is an existing morality na masamang pumatay. So, if ever na magkaroon tayo ng situation na, for example, a crime na may pinatay na tao, so we can say, using descriptive ethics na, that is immoral or mali yung ginawa ng tao. So, meron tayong mga opinions dito or na-identify natin, meron tayong mga pinagbabasehan ng mga standards if nasabi na siya immoral or hindi. When we say prescriptive naman or normative ethics, we have ethical theories na ginagamit natin in order to judge various arguments. So later on, madidiscuss natin yung mga ethical theories na yun. So doon ginagamit naman, yun naman yung ginagamit natin in order to practice practice the prescriptive or normative ethics. Okay. Marami po ba ito? Okay, kaunti na lang. Sige. Now we discuss what is the difference between the values, norms, and virtues. So when we say values, helps us determine which goals or states of affairs are worth striving for. Moral values are related to a good life and just society. So they have to be distinguished from the preference or interest of individual people. So for example, isang tao, moral values include the justice, health, happiness, and charity. So pag sinabing values kasi, ano ba yung value, ano yung ugali mo in terms of on how to deal with other people. The next one is the norms. Norms are rules that prescribe what concrete actions are required, permitted, or forbidden. These are rules and agreements about how people are supposed to treat each other. So values are often translated into rules so that it is clear in everyday life how we could act to achieve a certain value. So one example of norms. So this one is the difference between the values and the norms. When we say values, it pertains to the goals and are hard to achieve without norms. When we say norms naman, it means specific and effective without values. And the last one is the virtues. Next to values and norms we have another moral point of departure, virtues. So the philosopher described virtues as a certain type of human characteristics or qualities that has following 5 features. So, they are desired characteristic and they express value that is worth striving for. They are expressed in action. Pag sinabi natin virtues, they are lasting and permanent. They are always present but are only used when necessary, and they can influence by the individual. So, later, I will send a video that describe the difference between values, norms, and virtues para mas madali natin siyang maintindihan. Okay? Okay. So in terms of moral values, it helps us determine which goal or states of affairs are worth striving for in life. So ano ba yung pinapahalagahan natin, kumbaga? For example, pinapahalagahan natin yung justice. Magkaroon tayo ng magandang justice system. For example, sa Pilipinas, ang pinapahalagan ko, pinaglalaban ko is the justice system na meron tayo sa Pilipinas na kailangan siya ay pantay-pantay, mahirap man or mayaman. When saying no, moral norms are rules that prescribe what action is required or permitted or forbidden. Ano yung mga gagawin ko? Ano yung mga gagawin ko para to value na pinanghahawakan ko is ma-achieve ko. When we say virtues, are character traits that make someone a good person or that allow people to lead good lives. Okay. So balikan lang natin yung difference. So for example, ang pinapahalagahan mo ay sabi ko nga, for example, the health. So that is your goal. So sabi dito, it's hard to achieve without norms, or sabi ko nga, yung norms, yun yung ano yung gagawin mo para mas patunayan mo na mahalaga sa'yo yung health mo. When we say norms naman, okay, pinapahalagahan mo yung iyong health, pero hindi mo alam ano ba yung goal mo. For example, your goal is to lose weight. At magkaroon natin ba ng 50 kg, pero wala kang norms, wala kang ginagawa. Hindi mo siya ma-achieve. And kung meron ka naman ginagawa, or may ginagawa ka, pero hindi mo alam yung goals mo, hindi natin malalaman asa na ba tayo. Okay? So for the relativism and absolutism, so before we discuss the theories, we will discuss first the relativism and the absolutism. So before discussing the three most important theories in normative ethics na ginagamit natin, we shall look at two extreme theories that seem to be very tempting at first when it comes to forming moral judgment. So how we judge yung isa bang bagay is morally right or wrong. So we have the relativism and the absolutism. When we say normative relativism argues that all moral points of view, all values, norms, and virtues are relative. What is good or responsible for one person is not necessarily for others. So sinasabi dito na hindi yung values ng isang tao ay pareho na sa ibang tao. The norms, yung ginagawa ng isang tao, hindi rin same to other people. So a moral judgment or choice is simply personal opinion. If I think it is good or bad to do, then it is good. Kung isang tao, ang iniisip niya, tama to, sa ibang tao, merong possible hindi. So the defense of such claim is subjective and random. So there are no guidelines about behavior that are objective and independent of time, place, and culture. So in other words, there are no universal norms according to this theory. So that is norms that are universally applicable and should be respected by all. So dito, sinasabi lang dito na no universal norms. Yung
kami nagkaklase dito.
No universal norms yung
Alam pangalan ko bakit ka. Ayan. Ano? Anong pangalan yun? Bakit man sa pangalan? Hala ba kung may nagpunta ng pangalan mo?
So these are the three problems with this theory. First, it seems to involve the inherent contradiction. The theory states that there are no universal norms, but at the same time, it uses a universal norm. Everybody has to respect moral opinions or others. So sabi nga, sabi na sa normative relativism, no universal norms. Walang, lahat tayo is magkakaiba. But it uses no universal norm na everybody has to respect the moral opinions of others. So yun yung nagiging universal norms in terms of normative relativism. Second, it makes any meaningful moral discussion totally impossible. Impossible because you can always appeal to your freedom of opinion, which by definition is neither better nor worse than other opinions. So the question is whether this totalitarian standpoint should torture political prisoners be tolerated because this is customary within a given culture. So for example, nagkaroon tayo ng may issue regarding na tayo napanood na balita. So lahat every one of us iba yung opinion natin. So, are there no moral limits to such tolerance? Do we not all object to this kind of agreement to defend the torture of political prisoners? So, yung opinion ng isang tao in terms of political prisoners ay pwede maging iba doon sa opinion din ng ibang tao. Okay. The next one, the third problems with this theory is normative relativism can lead to unworkable or intolerable situations. So engineers work in terms or are employed in a company where there are written and unwritten rules to promote cooperation. So in terms of normative relativism kasi, nakadepende to kung ano yung pinaniniwalaan nga ng isang tao. So, I have may kwento lang ako. So, for example, I have a classmate kasi sa nung masters na nagtatrabaho sa isang manufacturing company. So, doon siya nagtatrabaho and the one thing na sinabi sa kanya ng professor niya, namin, nung time na yun is, ganun pa rin ba doon sa company niyo? So, when you say ganun ba, nung tinanong ko ano ba yung tinutukoy ng professor namin, sabi, the culture na meron doon sa company is napaka-worse, toxic. Ibig sabihin, ano nangyayari talaga, pag may problem ka dun sa isang tao, foul words yung sinasabi mo, na sinasabi ng ibang tao, wala silang nasusunod na mga rules and regulation regarding that one. Kaya parang, pag nagkaaroon ng conflict, okay lang kayo magsigawan, sige, sigawan kayo dyan, murahan kayo. So, what if, mapunta siya sa other company na iba yung standard, ay doon na siya nasanay. Yun yung paniniwalaan niya na okay lang to kasi part to ng trabaho. So nagkaaroon tayo doon ng problema, nagkaaroon tayo doon ng conflict. And then a system that allowed engineers to disregard these rules based on these personal values which other people have to respect would create an unworkable situation. Hindi naman pwedeng, okay, sige, sabi kasi sa normative relativism, we have to respect each other. Respetuhin kita kung yun gusto mo, pero hindi. Hindi natin pwedeng hayaan na ganun yung maging culture dun sa pinagtatrabahuhan natin. Okay? So, kasi nga, it can create unworkable situation. Magiging toxic yung office o yung department natin. Okay. The next one is absolutism. So, the other extreme position is absolutism. So, a rigid form of universalism. Universalism states that there is a system of norms and values that is universally applicable to everyone, independent of time, place, or culture. So absolutism can have a religious nature where God determines the universal norm. So contradicting to the normative relativism, dito naman, sabi dito, there is a universal norm and values na applicable sa everyone. So, mostly ng mga norms na to is the religious nature. So, how we practice yung religion natin, our faith, yun yung tinatawag na parang nagkakaroon tayo ng universal. So, absolutism is the main problem. So first, we cannot work with the notion that a universal norm prescribes the best action in a situation. Killing someone out of self-defense is justifiable despite the universal norm, though all pumatay. So there are cultures or there are countries na yung self-defense is justifiable. But there are some cultures na kahit sinabi mo na siya ay
naririnig niyo ako.
Self-defense lang, ay bawal namang pumatay. For example, in terms of justice system, for other countries, rape ba? Kung ikaw ay rapist, so papatayin ka sa gitna ng tao, either by a shot, bitay, or lethal injection. But in other, excuse me, sorry. But in other countries, kagaya ng Pilipinas, hindi natin binapatawan ng death penalty, hindi natin binibigyan ng death penalty yung mga rapists. Binibigyan lang natin is 30 years imprisonment or life in imprisonment. So yun yung nagiging problem. May mga time na hindi talaga siya universal, yung norms natin. The next one, absolutism gives no answer for conflicting norms. This occurs, for example, in the case of whistleblower. On the one hand, you have an obligation to maintain confidentiality, but on the other, you have the obligation to warn society about risks, according to which generally applicable norm should you act. So when you say whistleblower, sila yung mga taong nag-i-inform ng mga maling bagay na ginagawa ng ibang tao, ng ibang grupo, ng ibang organization. But on the other hand, you have the obligation to warn society about risk. Kumbaga, ang nangyayari dito, for example, you are part of a organization na possible maka-apekto doon sa life ng mga customer, doon sa product na ginagamitin ng mga customers. And you have, syempre, ikaw, ang norms mo kasi, public safety, kumbaga, kabutihan ng nakararami. Yung paniniwala mo, nagkaaroon ka tuloy ng conflict, kung ano yung susundin mo. Yung obligation mo ba to maintain the confidentiality na meron doon sa organization nyo, or your obligation to warn the society about the risk ng mga products na ilalabas nila. So, yun yung problem sa absolutism. The third one is absolutism offers no room for an independent moral judgment. It often stems for dogmatism. So, dogmatism, nakalimutan ko itong dogmatism. Wait lang. So, when we say dogmatism, is the tendency to lay down principles as incontrovertibly true without consideration of evidence or the opinion of others. So, dito, sometimes, yung pinaniniwalaan natin, nababaliwala na lang, or hindi na, nagbibigay agad tayo ng decisions without considering the evidence, yung opinions ng ibang tao. So, yan. Okay. So, that ends our discussion for tonight. Sabi ko nga, medyo binilisan ko na lang siya since nabigay ko na naman sa inyo yung module. So, other information na hindi kasama dito sa module ay nandoon sa hindi kasama sa PowerPoint ay nandoon sa module. The next topic will be the ethical theories. So, in terms of ethical theories, nabasa nyo ba yung module? Lahat? Di pa. So, in ethical theories, we have the utilitarianism. We have the Kantian theory or the duty ethics. Next one is the virtue ethics, the care ethics. So, actually, marami pa itong kasunod. So, I want you guys to continue the reading. And, merong example dyan, na case study. This one is regarding the company X with 4 vice president. So, dun sa case study na yon, i-identify natin on how we decide using utilitarian decision, duty ethics decision, virtue ethics decision. So, using yung ethical theories, we will be able to identify ano yung magiging decision natin para ma-resolve yung conflict. So, I want you guys to continue the reading and the case study, basahin natin kasi hindi ko na siya i-discuss next discussion. We will move on to our lesson 2. So, that will be your assignment para basahin yon. So, sabi ko nga, hindi na sa akin, binigay ko na sa inyo yung module, you just have to make some effort para basahin yun. If there will be question na lang, next week, so next week tayo is meron discussion, tatanungin ko kayo kung ano ba yung hindi nyo naintindihan doon sa part na yon. We will try to, okay, sige, ganito na lang. Basahin nyo yung module, we will discuss the case study. So yun na lang yung pag-uusapan natin next time. The case study and how we judge, how we provide judgment dun sa mga ethical issues. Okay? Question, guys? May I request everyone to open your camera so that I can see you? Kasi gusto ko makita yung reaction nyo. And syempre, kailangan ko rin ng attendance. Hindi pa tayo tapos ha, meron pa akong konting i-discuss. Wait lang. Okay, gising pa kayo? Gising pa ba kayo? Gising pa naman, no? Sorry, medyo ginabi tayo.
Gising pa po.
Sinong tulog na dyan? Wait lang ha. Okay, so let's take a picture lang. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have an assignment to you guys. So this one is a case study. Hindi naman siya case study. Sabi ko lang sa inyo, mahilig talaga ako sa case study and tawag dito, essay. So you need to send it until next week. And we will also discuss ano ba yung magiging answers natin. Okay. So tingnan natin. Okay. Kita nyo ba? Kita nyo? Kita nyo, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you have to answer the following questions. Sabi ko, briefly, concisely, direct to the point. I will not accept long answers. Just short and direct to the point. Okay. So, you have to identify the moral values, issues, and dilemmas na meron, if any, involved in the following cases, and explain why you consider them as values or dilemma. Ano yung conflict, or ano yung magiging, sa tingin nyo, ano yung best decision doon sa conflict na meron tayo. So first is, an engineer notified his firm that for relatively minor cost, flashlight could be made to last several years longer. Yung isang engineer daw, nakadiscover ng isang flashlight na medyo mas mahal ng konti, pero mas magtatagal yung gamit ng bulb natin. The firm decided that it would be interest not to use the new bulb kasi but to keep lower cost and have the added advantage of built-in obsolescence so that consumers would need to purchase new flashlight more often. Hindi pumayag yung firm kasi possible kapag tumagal yung bulb, mababawasan yung customers natin. So what do you think is the issues or dilemmas na meron dito? And if you were the engineer, how would you react or how would you react on that conflict? Okay? The next one is the next one is an engineer who has been involved in design of small airplane for business travel type XYZ, finds out that mali yung software na ginamit niya in order to calculate the required strength ng wing. So he has used a standard software package but now realized na hindi pala siya fit doon sa specific type ng airplane. So the very same day, nalaman niya, nung araw na nalaman niya na mali yung software na nagamit niya, may nag-crash na type XYZ na aeroplano at 4 yung namatay. So the investigation shows that the plane has crashed due to inadequate design of the wing. Yun yung nag-investigation, nagkaroon daw ng inadequate design yung sa wing. Do you consider this engineer responsible for the plane crash and the death of the 4 people? Or if you think kulang yung information, sa tingin nyo, ano pa yung dapat merong information tayo para makapagbuo tayo ng judgment? And paano paano yung information na yon makaka-apekto sa judgment natin. Okay? So that will be your assignment for next week. Until Saturday, because on Saturday we will discuss ano ba yung mga sagot natin. Okay? So, sasend ko naman itong module kasama itong assignment nyo next week. Also, the video will be recorded para kung gusto nyo panoorin nyo na lang. Okay? Any question, guys? Do you have any question? Question? Question, guys? Sensya na guys, medyo ginubi talaga ako kasi kakauwi ko lang sa trabaho. But I need to attend pa rin yung klase natin kasi last week hindi tayo nakapag-klase ng engineering ethics. But next week, expect na magkaklase tayo dun sa 3 subject kasi wala akong pasok. So gusto ko lang i-maximize yung time. Okay. Question po. Question? Question guys? Wala na? Ano yung question? Okay. So that will be our so yun na yun. That's end of our discussion. So maybe yung attendance na lang nito, may screenshot naman ako, doon ko na lang kukunin. And then please be reminded yung binigay kong assignment for the information system. Pasend na lang din sa akin, binigay ko yung email until next week din. Okay? So may nakapag-send na naman. Ang bilis magsagot. So yung iba, pasend na lang po sa aking email. Ano po? Question, guys. Do you have any question? Wala na? About the topic, other than that? Okay. So that will be all. Thank you, guys. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. May papuso pa. Oh, yung isa, palakpak. May ano. Puro emoji, ah. Bye.
Kain na po.
Thanks po, sir. Thanks po.
Ay, papahinga na ako. Kakain muna.
Kain na sir.
Kaya nga, pagod pa sa trabaho. Atensya na.
Thank you po. Bye-bye po.
Thank you, everyone.
Ayaw mag-leave.
Ay, ayaw nyo mag-leave. Mag-leave na kayo.
Lang po, sir.